Does your savings bucket, for your budget, that bucket have a hole in it? Or maybe you just don't have one at all?
Or do you have the means to start saving, even just a little, but you kind of need some guidance? Well, let's turn to our friends at Arbor Financial Credit Union for some guidance. I think times like these have definitely proven to us that a rainy day fund was more like a monsoon fund. Financially, what just happened to us? Well, how can you go about saving now and then also look ahead to saving for retirement too? We stopped by Arbor Financial Credit Union for some answers. Let's go inside.
Yeah, I wanted to share some thoughts about savings, both short-term and for the future. We know that what Americans are facing right now, they've actually made savings a priority, which is pretty cool coming out of what we're facing. Whether they're saving for buying a house, a wedding, or maybe even retirement. It's really the best way to increase your financial well-being is by savings. Let's start with the short term, right? Short term is generally something a lot of people struggle with the most. We know that only 4 out of 10 Americans could actually cover an $1,000 emergency out of a savings or a checking account. So that leaves the other people left over to reach for that high interest credit card or a payday loan. If you had to borrow $1,000 through a payday loan, by the time you actually pay it back, you're probably spending around $1,600. In an ideal world, you should really save about 3 months worth of your pay. I know that's a lot, I know. But don't be put off. Try to make small steps out of it. Try to save $500, maybe $1,000. And then when you do build up that little bit, seek out those high interest savings accounts or checking accounts. For example, Arbor Financial Credit Union has a 4% momentum checking. It'll pay you 4% up to $15,000 that you keep in there. So really making the small changes can really add up. In the 10 years previous from this, 401ks have been great at showing high return, but the stock market has shown trouble since the beginning of this year. However, the S&P and the Dow are almost back and almost ahead of where they should be. So we are seeing some return, and what that means is keep on doing what you're doing. If you can invest, do it. They say keep calm and invest on. These long-term savings are for the long term. 20 to 30 years out for most people like us, and people that are even looking down retirement, they still might live an additional 20 to 30 years. So it's always a great idea to have a long-term savings plan in play at all times. If you're in your early 20s and you could put away $100 a month into your 401k or even a savings, with compounded interest and the time you hit retirement age, you could have well over $400,000. Now, I know that's kind of an example, but you have to realize that what kind of life do you want to live in retirement? Do you want to travel on a boat? Do you want to have a nice house? Maybe you want to live on a huge acreage where no one can talk to you. That might be your goal, but you have to realize that costs money. And a lot of times when people don't sit down and realize what their goals are, when they hit retirement, they realize that they're short and they're living on a fixed income because they've made these decisions. And I worked with a lot of people over my last 10 years in banking, and a lot of people, when you start saying, what do you want to do in retirement? They start like, well, I want to have this house. Okay, right, how much does this house cost? How much are the payments? How much is the insurance? And then they start realizing they have maybe $1 million, but to live the life they want to live in retirement, they need 5. And it's better now, obviously with time on our side, to review those things, and we recommend talking to your financial advisor yearly. First thing I recommend is checking with your employer and see if they have a 401k. If your employer does have a 401k, most likely they'll have some sort of a match, 4%, maybe above. That's essentially free money. So it's really good to take advantage of. And then a lot of these 401ks, post all that what happened currently this year, they're turning 8, 9, 10%. So it's a good way of going about it. So there are options for people if your employer doesn't offer a 401k. I definitely recommend an IRA or individual retirement account. A single person could put $6,000 a year into it, and a married couple can max it out at 12. And if you're over 50, you can even put in more. Well, first off, I always recommend people reaching out to their bank and credit union and seeking a licensed financial advisor to really sit down, and we recommend again yearly to do that. But we also know that a lot of people, when they're first starting to look into it, they want to educate themselves. And where do you find education that's kind of unbiased? Well, we have an answer for you. At arborfcu.org, under our Learning tab, we have a program called our Level Up Financial Success Program. This Level Up Financial Success Program in there has a whole module with about 7 different playlists or 7 different lessons in there, about 5 to 7 minutes a piece on different parts of retirement. You can do these at your own time. It comes in English and Spanish. It works on your phone. It's free for members and non-members. We extend it to everybody, and that's our commitment to education. But it's really a great way to start the ball. There's also some calculators in there that if you're like, okay, this is what I want to do when I retire, you can put it in there and it tells you how much to save. I think people need to see this brass tacks because they really need to know what lifestyle they want to live, because there's a lot of people I've talked to that they wait and they push it off because they don't want to talk to them because they think it's like this guy waving papers on the stock market, and it's not. There are very secure, very subtle investments that will get you a great rate of return and still allow you to have the retirement you want, but also be able to sleep at ease right now knowing that it's not going to all be gone.
And once again, to learn more or find a location nearest you, go to arborfcu.org.